Welcome back to Miss Cindy's Kitchen. Tonight I'm going to take you on a run through of a new recipe for us. It is a copycat version of Panera's Broccoli Cheddar Soup.
Ooh.
And the ingredients I pretty much always have on hand. And it's a recipe from allrecipes.com. And it is the ingredients. We will have them in the description. However, I will read them off to you. And it's always good to have everything staged before you start a recipe. Mm-hmm. That's called mise en place, which means everything in its place. We have 1 tablespoon of butter. That's in the skillet, in which we're going to add our onion, which is half an onion chopped. Mm-hmm. And then in this pot, we're going to be making a roux out of 1/4 cup of butter, melted, and 1/4 cup of flour. Okay. And then we will build up the soup with chicken stock and milk. And then we will add our broccoli. This is just fresh broccoli that I chopped up. Our family loves broccoli, so I always buy it when I go shopping, because we always find some way to use it up. So we have broccoli. And then I had some sliced carrots in the fridge that desperately needed to be used up. We visited with those on a previous recipe. Mm-hmm. So anyway, 1 cup of matchstick carrots. And that basically just means cutting them into matchstick shape. And then 1 stalk of celery, thinly sliced.
All right. And
our sharp cheddar, which is actually Colby Jack, because that's what we had in the fridge. So again, we're making a new recipe, but we're using what we already have.
All right.
So, and again, we will either post the actual recipe or a link in the video. So, what we're going to do first is saute the onion. So we're going to turn on the stove. And then we're going to saute the onion until translucent. And we did that the other day when we had our stuffing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we've released that one yet.
No, actually, that's the next one.
Yeah, that's the forthcoming one.
Yep.
So I'm going to use actually this to saute. This is a rubber scraper from Pampered Chef. Because their stuff really lasts. I used to sell it ages ago, but I still have most of my equipment. So we'll go ahead and do that. And since I'm capable of multitasking, I'm going to let that saute while I make the roux. So I'm going to put in, this is about 1/4 cup.
Okay.
It's just a couple tail ends of butter, roughly half a stick, which is 1/4 cup. And then I have my whisk. Why whisk it? Haha. Okay. So I'm going to turn this burner on. And then we're going to add in the flour and stir. We're going to build up the soup base while our onions saute. And in other recipes I've used, when it called for onions in the soup, it was part of the main soup mixture. But this one was a little bit different. So basically you want to cook the the flour until it gets a little golden, because that'll take off the burnt taste. Not the burnt taste, but the raw taste of the flour. And then we're just going to add in a little bit of milk to stir it around, and then gradually work on building up the sauce. It says to add in just a little bit of milk to loosen up the flour mixture. Because it does take a while to build up sauce. So we're going to continue to build up the sauce while we get the onions sauteed, and then we'll bring you back in a few minutes when we're ready to move on a little bit in the recipe. And in the meantime, like and subscribe and keep on sharing, and we'll be back momentarily. We're back, And you can take a look at the sauce for the soup. This is the roux sauce, which is the butter, flour, and milk. And as this thickens, we are going to gradually add our chicken broth. And I use dry chicken broth powder in a lot of things. So when I need to have liquid broth, I just mix hot water and the dry broth, and it becomes liquid broth.
Huh.
So we're going to start adding this in, and then we'll bring you back in when we're ready to add the vegetables.
All right.
All right, and we're gradually building up the soup base with the chicken broth.
Now, I've been noticing one of the things you did was with the broth and what you did with the milk is you're like pouring, like, you said you had 2 cups of milk, so I'm thinking like
Yeah.
you were pouring in like a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup of milk at a time, and then stirring it, and then you're doing the same thing with the broth.
Yeah, gotta wait for it to thicken.
Because you know me, I would just would just dump everything in. And
Yeah, you gotta gradually build up the sauce. So as you can see, it's bubbling on the bottom, and I'm using my nylon whisk so it doesn't scrape the non-stick pan. So I'm gonna keep adding the broth, and then when we're ready to add the vegetables, we'll bring you back. All right, and we're back, and we finished building up the soup broth, so you can take a look at that.
ooh,
Get a good, nice, long look.
that looks
All right.
good.
And now we're gonna add the onions to this broth. Some nice toasty onions.
Now, it actually took about 5 minutes to like get those onions done. It didn't take very long at all.
Yeah. All right. Doop-a-doop-a-doo. Get all these onions in there. All right.
As our dog's hoping to drop one.
Yeah, and then we're gonna add our ingredients. 1 cup of matchstick carrots. Again, those are some older carrots that were in our fridge needing to be used up. Celery, 1 large stalk of celery, thinly sliced. And the star of the show, broccoli. It called for 1.5 cups, but I had 1 large head of broccoli. That was just the top. It didn't have much of a stem, so I just chopped that up. Because, in my opinion, you can't have too much broccoli, especially if it is broccoli cheddar soup.
Now, if you're like on a budget or in a hurry, or would it be okay to get like those bags of broccoli florets at the?
Yeah. And my original intent was to use up some pre-cut broccoli cauliflower mixture that we had. However, it was a little over the hill when I opened it up, so I decided to go with the fresh broccoli I already purchased. So we're gonna let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes and simmer. So make sure you like and subscribe and share this video and leave us comments. I love your feedback, and we'll be back momentarily. All right, and we're back, and the soup vegetables have simmered for about 10 minutes, and the broccoli is al dente.
Oh wow!
I don't like squishy vegetables, so I'm gonna put some garlic salt in. It says salt and pepper to taste, and I got some freshly ground black pepper. I'm gonna put that in there, and then I'm going to add in the cheese.
Cheese.
Yeah, I'm gonna stir in the seasonings first. So, this is about half of a 1-pound block of cheese. It's a little bit more cheese than it called for, but I don't think too much cheese has ever been a problem for anybody.
No. Too much cheese is never.
Logan's like, cheese tax, cheese tax.
Yeah.
Logan's back to do a taste test.
Yeah.
He's in the home stretch of school.
I'm working on my final semester, final assignment. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Final assignment of this semester right now.
And you're crossing stage on Friday.
Yeah, from Bakersfield College.
College.
Currently, I'm a student at California State University, Bakersfield. I'm in my junior year, but I qualified to participate in the Bakersfield College commencement ceremony because I graduated from BC in fall of 2024 after I officially earned all 3 associate degrees I was working towards, those being English, theater arts, and liberal arts.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
You ready to eat?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to put this in this little dish here so you can just do the taste test. So, do you a little extra. Now we'll need to get a spoon.
And you stirred in all that cheese.
Yep, and it melted because the liquid was hot.
Nice.
Does that look yummy?
That looks delicious.
Steam up the camera.
Yeah,
All right, want to hand me a spoon?
Let's not steam up the camera.
I'll give you a makeshift, Logan. Give you a makeshift pot holder.
Thank you.
So, you can blow on it and taste it and see how it tastes.
If I burn my mouth, it was not my fault. Let's try this.
That steam just come right off the spoon.
Yeah. Hot broccoli. Hot. You need a glass of milk, honey?
Taste tests work better when it's not boiling hot.
Take some of the broth and blow
When
it
I
off.
can
really
actually
well.
taste the food and not the temperature. From what I was able to taste, though, it tastes pretty good. Oh, goodness.
Why don't you take some of the broth? Because that'll be hotter than less hot than the vegetables. Blow it off. Instead of Taylor Swift, shake it off. Blow it off. Blow it off.
I'm literally blowing off steam right now. That's good. Yeah, biting into that piece of broccoli. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
No.
Your eyes are red and watery.
Good?
Yes, very good.
All right.
All right. Thank you again for joining us on this journey to broccoli cheddar soup. So anyway, just make sure you keep liking and subscribing and sharing because we love hearing from you and love seeing our videos reach more people. Talk to you again soon. Have a great evening.
Thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen. To get more recipes like this one, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications when new videos are uploaded. Share it out to your friends, family, and neighbors, and leave us a comment to let us know how this recipe worked for you. And don't forget to hit that like button. Again, thank you for watching Miss Cindy's Kitchen.